What's going on, TW fans? Walker back with another episode of What's New Tackle Warehouse. We are absolutely stacked with hot baits this week. First up, you guys have been waiting on it, the all-new Rapala Crush City Mooch Minnow. This thing has already won hundreds of thousands of dollars in tournament fishing. It's caught a bunch of big fish, and it's brand new, available at Tackle Warehouse. The big thing on this right now is for forward-facing sonar techniques. It's built with a nice little half paddle tail there, gets a lot of undulation under the water, built with a super flexible, durable plastic material, so you're not running through plastics. The big thing on this too is the profile. It's perfect for threadfin eaters or cold water fishing when they're feeding up on smaller bait fish. I've actually got my hands on these and I've caught a bunch of fish on them already. I know a bunch of guys that have as well. I'm super excited to be able to get these in you guys' hands. The all-new Rapala Crush City Mooch Minnow, now available at Tackle Warehouse. Next up, we're gonna talk about the Geecrack SAF Bass Energy Spray. Now, I'm not sure if any of you guys have used the Geecrack stuff before, but to me it smells like a bag of Fritos mixed with shad. And this scent is exactly what that is. Anytime you're fishing with something that doesn't already have that SAF scent on there, that Bass Energy scent, you now can buy the Geecrack Bass Energy Spray scent. Put it on your baits. It gets a lot of bites. It's something unique that the fish haven't really seen before, or I guess smelled before. Now available in the spray scent. It's an awesome way to go ahead and, just get your baits rocking and rolling for the next time you're on the water. Next, I want to talk about the Gan Craft jointed claw shift in the 113 millimeter size. This is in the chrome floating version. So again, whether you're fishing, places where they're feeding on herring or threadfin, this is kind of that perfect in-between size that just, appeals to any bass. It's in the floating version, so it's going to wake, whether you slow roll it on the top or you burn it, it might dive a little bit beneath the surface, and that chrome on there is super awesome. It's got a, kind of a duller chrome up top to that bright shiny chrome on the side. It just catches a lot of flash when the sun hits it, and it looks just right. Cool thing about this too, it's got the hard hinge in the middle between those two rings in the middle, but then the tail, it's actually a piece of rubber holding that on there. So again, just a really lifelike action that's going to dull the noise just a little bit, give it that more natural approach. That's the all-new Gan Craft jointed claw shift 113. Next up, I'm going to talk about the Rapala 20-pound high-vis tournament scale. Super clear, crisp image on there, the black lettering on white background. You're able to see this no matter the conditions, the time of day, or where you are. The cool thing about this though is it has either a single person mode or a versus mode where you can do kind of a tournament situation. And it also either holds a 5 bass limit or an 8 bass limit depending on what you want to do. Weighs in kilograms and pounds, the all new Rapala 20-pound high-vis tournament scale, something I'm super excited to get over in stock at Tackle Warehouse. Next up from Rapala, the same brand, we've got the OG Big Rocco. Now the regular Rocco has been a staple in the square bill arsenal for many years, caught a bunch of fish. Ott Defo is probably, in my opinion, one of the best world-renowned crankbait fishermen of all time. He personally wanted a bigger size than the Rocco. Talked to him this year at ICAST, and he described a lot of key aspects on this. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out at tacklewarehouse.com. But the cool thing about this is it's a bigger size profile. Again, it's the balsa construction there, the circuit board square bill, so it's a super silent bait. The only rowdy you really get out of this bait is when you're putting the split rings and the hooks to use, and it's kind of making that slight metal on metal sound, but not necessarily a bad thing. Catches a lot of fish no matter where you are, even though the rattle's there. I like a little bit of rattle. That's the perfect silent little square bill crankbait for me. Next up, they've got the Rapala PXR Deep Maverick, built with premium VMC, the Teflon coated series of hooks there. This is the deep version. The Maverick has been out for a little while, and it's definitely a great jerkbait. Now they've got the deep version. Dives just a little bit deeper. Got the big bill on there. Super erratic action made in some of Rapala's most premium lifelike colors on there. And again, the hardware on it, top notch. Teflon coated hooks, specifically designed for this jerkbait. I'm a big fan of this. I can't wait to get a few in my hands. Last but not least from Rapala, we've got the Jowler topwater bait. This bait has been probably one of my favorite things to come out in the past year. On it here, we've got, again, some premium hooks on there. They actually specifically designed the hooks on this bait for this bait. It's not a size 4 or a size 6. It's a size that's specifically designed to fit on the jowler where they don't get hung up, but it's still big enough to increase your hookup ratio when a bass eats it. It's got a feather tied treble on the back for that added lifelike appearance. The cool thing about this bait, though, is on the front. That little cupped lip on it for the top water just slashes water left and right when you're walking the dog on the top of this thing. It's gonna be a spotted bass killer for me over on Lake Lanier, but I'm sure it's gonna play, across the country. This here is a super lifelike color. I'm a big fan of those clear translucent baits, and this bait does it really, really well with just a hint of chartreuse on the lip there to get for something the bass can key in on. Again, the Rapala jowler hopefully gonna be a big, big player in my topwater fishing this coming year. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about something that I'm personally a huge, huge fan of. I've caught a lot of fish on these for many years, and I was talking to some of our buyers. I was like, hey guys, we gotta get the spot choker Underspins in stock at Tackle Warehouse. It's just such an awesome, awesome finesse underspin. We've got the Pro model, the regular model, and then the finesse model. One thing I want to call out about all these underspins is they've got the hologram blade. You can get these in a couple different blade styles. This one's the hologram that I personally love. I haven't seen that on too many other underspins. Throws off a bunch of light when you're reeling it on the bottom or burning it across the surface. You can see that thing coming from a mile away. They make the finesse style hook on there. Even on the regular model, it's still a smaller 3/0 hook. Great little bait keeper on there. I've found this bait to run true 100% of the time. I don't ever get it to blow out left or right, no matter how fast I'm reeling it, and that's what I want out of an underspin. Something I can creep along the bottom, or something that if I want to pick it up and speed it back in, it's not going to blow out left or right on me for. So that's the regular model there. Again, like I mentioned, they make the finesse model, which has got a smaller hook on there for some of your smaller baits, maybe a 2/8 Kitech or even some of those 2-inch swing impacts. It's gonna fit great on that style jig head there. And then the Pro model, something they did that I really enjoy is when you wanna have your bait stay on there just a little bit longer, they've got the screw lock added onto the shank of the hook there. You're able to twist your paddle tail, your fluke style, your minnow style bait on the back there. It's not gonna fall away, it's not gonna roll left or right, it's not gonna come off, it's gonna stay on there for a long, long time. And again, still with that hologram style blade on the spot choker underspins. I'm a huge fan. I hope you guys are too. Make sure you check them out at tacklewarehouse.com. And last but not least, we've got some stuff from Southern Hook Lures, a herring special. Caught a lot of fish around the North Georgia area, Hartwell, Lanier, any place where they're feeding on herring is the main forage, and I'm sure that's gonna play across the country, something I'm really excited to introduce at Tackle Warehouse. First up, we've got the HD herring. This is the natural color. It's a jointed swimbait there. It's gonna replace a lot of my jointed swimbaits there for when you're burning it, when you're just reeling it as fast as you can, making it look like a fling bait fish made it in an ultra lifelike color. It's actually molded from a herring, so it's got the exact profile of a herring. It's got the exact colorways of a herring. I mean, everything about it screams perfection in my opinion. What I also love about this is they did the soft plastic tail there, so it's just an added bit of realism. You don't have just your treble hook coming off the back or just a rounded, end section there like some other companies. You've actually got the tail molded into the bait and just makes it look that much more lifelike. They also make something that I'm a big proponent of, is the Fickle. This is an interesting style bait here. It's a kind of a twitch bait, forward-facing sonar bait. It's something that I haven't really seen a lot of companies doing, is making just that solid body bait where you can add your own soft jerk bait to the back of it there. The Fickle by Southern Hook Lures is definitely one of the best out of the few companies that are doing it, in my opinion. It's got that scale pattern molded into the bait. What you're gonna do is just throw that out there, let it hit whatever target you're fishing, a brush pile here, a hump there, schooling fish, and you're gonna twitch it back to you. It's gonna dart left and right, up, down, or if you just sit there and jig it, it's got a nice little flutter on the fall for you to reel up and then just flutter right back down to them. Super, super lifelike appearance, pressured fishery killer right here, the Fickle by Southern Hook Lures. And then lastly from them, they've got the ProTech Spin. I just talked about some underspins here. This is another one of my favorite ones. When they're not eating the hologram blade, I'm gonna pick up a Southern Hook Lures. They've got the molded screw lock on there on the shank of the bait. The cool thing about this too is it's a bigger style head with a smaller style hook, and it's got the lip molded in there. You can never have too many underspins, especially when they're eating that small bait. Right now in the wintertime, I find this to be a key player around the country, no matter where I'm fishing. So again, the ProTech Spin by Southern Hook Lures. That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of What's New Tackle Warehouse. Make sure you check out our website if you liked any of the product you saw today. Head on over to tacklewarehouse.com to check out these products and a ton more.